Open a retirement calculator and it usually asks for one annual spending number. Then it stretches that number across decades, adds inflation, and gives you a finish line. Clean, simple, reassuring. At least, that is what a single budget suggests. Your first year after work will not look like your active retirement years, and neither one will look like a later year when you may need more help at home. Build 3 retirement budgets before you quit, and your plan becomes far more useful. The third budget also catches a Medicare blind spot that is easy to miss. This story does not start with an investment return. It starts with an ordinary checking account. Your mortgage or rent arrives every month. Groceries, insurance, utilities, property taxes, and car expenses keep showing up. Some work costs disappear after retirement, while travel, hobbies, family visits, and home projects may suddenly grow. Government spending tables show that the mix of household expenses differs across age groups. Retirement research also finds that spending does not automatically rise in a straight line with inflation. But an average is not a forecast for your household. Some retirees spend less as they age. Others face rising housing, medical, or support costs. Your budget needs to reflect choices and risks that actually belong to you. The first plan is your launch budget. This budget covers the final months of work and the opening years of retirement. It is where paychecks stop, automatic retirement contributions end, and new expenses can arrive before your routine settles down. Begin with 12 months of bank and credit card statements. A single month can hide annual insurance premiums, holiday gifts, property taxes, seasonal utilities, and repairs. For bills that change, use a full year to find a realistic monthly average. Then separate the result into expenses that continue, expenses that disappear, and expenses that may begin. Commuting, payroll taxes, work clothing, and retirement plan contributions may fall away. Health coverage can move in the other direction. If you leave work before you are eligible for Medicare, the launch budget needs the actual cost of the coverage available to you, not a guess based on what came out of your old paycheck. Confirm the start date and full cost before choosing a retirement date. Now add one-time transition costs. That could include replacing an aging car, repairing a roof, moving, paying for professional advice, or buying equipment for a new routine. Do not quietly bury those costs inside a normal month. Put them on their own line with a date and a funding source. The launch budget answers a precise question. Can your household move from wages to retirement income without treating every irregular bill as an emergency? If the answer is unclear, the problem may be timing rather than the entire retirement plan. The same expense that looks temporary in year 1 can become permanent if nobody reviews it. That is why the second budget needs a different job. Your active years budget funds the life you are retiring to. Instead of starting with a percentage of your old salary, start with 3 layers. The protected layer contains housing, food, utilities, insurance, taxes, essential transportation, and basic medical costs. The lifestyle layer contains travel, restaurants, hobbies, gifts, and projects. The reserve layer covers irregular expenses that are predictable in category even when the date is unknown. A furnace will not tell you which year it plans to fail, but owning a house makes repairs predictable as a category. The same is true for a vehicle, dental work, or helping family. A reserve turns those expenses from surprises into part of the design. This layered budget gives you something a flat annual number cannot. It shows which spending can change after a difficult market year without threatening housing or health coverage. You can decide in advance whether the first response would be delaying a trip, reducing a project, using cash set aside for flexibility, or making another measured adjustment. That decision should be made while you are calm. Waiting until markets fall invites fear to write the budget for you. The active years budget should also contain the experiences that give retirement a purpose. If visiting grandchildren, traveling, volunteering, restoring a classic car, or building a garden matters to you, attach a realistic cost and a likely schedule. Calling every enjoyable expense optional may make a spreadsheet look safe, but it can produce a retirement you would never choose. Review this budget at least once a year and after a major change in health, housing, or family responsibility. Compare what you planned with what you actually spent. If lifestyle spending repeatedly comes in lower, you have useful evidence. If it comes in higher, you can adjust before a small gap becomes a long-term problem. So far, the plan covers transition and independence. The third budget deals with a phase many calculators compress into one rising medical line. Your support year's budget prepares for a change in how daily life gets done. Travel and entertainment may decline later in retirement, but that does not mean total spending must fall. Transportation can shift from driving your own car to paid rides. Home maintenance can move from do-it-yourself work to hired help. A safer bathroom, fewer stairs, meal delivery, hearing care, dental care, or assistance with personal tasks can change the shape of the budget. Medicare does not pay for most long-term custodial care. That includes much of the non-medical help people may need with dressing, bathing, meals, transportation, or daily life at home or in a facility. Medicaid, private insurance, family help, community services, and personal savings may each play a role, but none should be assumed without checking eligibility and terms. You do not need to predict the exact year or exact cost. Build scenarios instead. What would change if one person needed several hours of help each week? What if driving stopped? Would the current home still work, or would a move create a better financial and practical result? Who would coordinate care, and where would the money come from? This budget is also where couples should test the household after the first death. Income can change, tax filing can change, and many housing costs remain. A plan that works only while both people are alive is missing one of retirement's central risks. Once all three budgets exist, place them side by side. Keep the same major categories so changes are visible. Housing may stay steady in the active years and rise under a support scenario. Travel may rise after work and fall later. Health coverage may change sharply when Medicare begins, while long-term support remains a separate risk. Within each column, mark every expense as recurring, one-time, or conditional. Recurring costs keep the household running. One-time costs have a likely date but should not be mistaken for a permanent monthly increase. Conditional costs appear only when something changes, such as leaving work before Medicare, moving to a different home, giving up driving, or needing regular assistance. That distinction prevents two common planning errors. The first is counting a major purchase as if it repeats every year, which can make retirement look more expensive than it is. The second is ignoring an uncertain cost simply because you cannot predict its date, which can make the plan look safer than it is. A conditional line gives uncertainty a place without pretending uncertainty is certainty. Price what you can price today. Check an actual health insurance option, property tax bill, homeowner's premium, apartment rent, local transportation service, or home care rate. A current quote will not remain accurate forever, but it reveals the scale of the decision. Then add the date when that quote should be refreshed. For costs that cannot be estimated cleanly, write down the response instead. You might identify which spending would pause, which room in the house could become accessible, which person would help compare care options, or which asset would be reviewed with a professional. A response plan cannot erase the cost, but it keeps the first decision from being made in panic. Next, match reliable income to protected expenses. Then identify which savings or other resources would support lifestyle choices, irregular reserves, and later care scenarios. This is not a recommendation to withdraw from a particular account. It is a way to see which promises your plan must keep before account and tax decisions are made. Finally, give every budget an update trigger. Retirement itself activates the launch budget. A stable post-work routine activates the active year's budget. A change in mobility, health, driving, housing, or caregiving activates a review of the support budget. The triggers matter more than guessing an age, because people do not age according to a spreadsheet schedule. One retirement budget offers a comforting illusion of precision. 3 budgets admit that life changes, then give you a way to respond without starting the entire plan again. Go back to that ordinary checking account from the beginning. Its transactions already contain the first version of your retirement plan. Sort 1 year of real spending into the launch, active, and support phases. Mark what is protected, what is flexible, and what still needs a quote or a decision. The goal is not to predict every bill for the next 30 years. It is to make the next version of your life financially visible before the paycheck ends. Subscribe to Old Smart Money for more calm, practical retirement decisions that are easier to make while you still have time to prepare.